All right. Happy Friday, San Diego. We have an exciting show for you today. We've got Baylea Ducote with Sellstate Next Gen Realty, and we're going to be focusing in on Oceanside today. My name is Chris Astillero with Exchange Resources. We are Learning San Diego Live. All right, everybody, another beautiful day here in sunny San Diego. This is the only show in the United States that focuses in on different regions of San Diego. This is the only show that talks about everything related to real estate so that you can make the best decisions in buying or selling. Today, we've got Sell State Next Gen Realty, Baylea Ducote, who is going to be focusing in on beautiful Oceanside. Now, when you are purchasing real estate as possibly a first-time home buyer or upgrading to a primary residence or buying as an investment property, there are different factors that you need to take into consideration when making your decision. The quality of life. What is the quality of life in Oceanside? What are the parks? What's the transportation? What are the amenities for your family? And even people who are moving in, renting properties in this area. What is that quality of life? What is the crime rate? Where are the shopping centers? Where can they go to have fun? What are the market trends in Oceanside? Is it a buyer's market? Is it a seller's market? What are the listings like? How many listings do we have on inventory? Can buyers still negotiate buy downs for their loans with the sellers helping them with that? Or can they also negotiate repairs, credit for repairs? Is there going to be multiple offers that are going to be coming soon? Is it going to be more of a competitive market? So we're going to talk about that, as well as the economic development. Where are the jobs in Oceanside? Is it supporting the community? With the biotech industry, the military and defense industry, technology. What is going on with economic development here in Oceanside? So these are the different things that you need to consider. We're going to talk about a lot of different things and focus in on how all this information is going to benefit you. But before we dive in to the show, let's roll it with our Learning Local News.
Hello, everyone. Raphael Davis, a.k.a. the Black Belt Mortgage Pro, coming to you today with local learning news. I'm excited to hear about Carlsbad a little later, but, we bring you local learning news to give you what's going on right now in real time. And today we have a really good topic for you. So $84 trillion is about to be transferred down to heirs. Think about that. Listen to that. $84 trillion is about to be transferred down to heirs from the baby boomer generation. Guys, that's a lot of wealth. And that's what we're going to discuss right here on this panel today. And so, again, $84 trillion. And you know what stood out about that when I was thinking about the $84 trillion is I think there's 15.2 million people right now in the United States that are age 55 and older, and they have no heirs. They have no children, right? So where's that wealth going to go to, right? So I learned something in this news today, and that's solo agers. I had really never even heard of that term before, but solo aging, that's something else. So what do you think about that, Chris? Did you get a chance to take a look at this?
Absolutely. And as the baby boomers get older, they're thinking about, well, where is my wealth going to go to, especially if they don't have any children. So this wealth can go to their nieces and nephews. But more importantly, as they get older, their health will start to get more challenging, will possibly deteriorate as they get older. So with the wealth that they have, they're going to need to consider maybe putting that in a more passive form of investment, like possibly a Delaware statutory trust, where they're going to be able to get that income from a portfolio of real estate to be able to pay for their health care. And I think that that's a great move for many of the baby boomers who own real estate where they don't really want to manage properties anymore. And for many people who don't know what a DST is, it is a portfolio of real estate where they can actually take their investments, roll it into this is brick and mortar real estate, senior living, student housing, triple net leases where they get a passive income on a monthly basis. So that might be an option for a lot of these people. And, they just don't know that that option exists. And so we're here to talk about it. Nicole, what do you think? Nicole, are you on mute?
Happy Friday, y'all. Anyways, I think the biggest thing in my head, I go back to even being a kid, right? And I just think about back then and how real estate wasn't cool and everyone kind of knocked it a little bit, and like, yeah, go buy a house. Why would you waste your money there? And then the biggest thing that stood out to me in this article was 2% is going to control 50% of the wealth. Those are crazy numbers, you guys. 2% controls 50% of the transfers that are about to happen. So, and I think as we continue to move forward in new generations, the idea of being that person passing to nobody continues to become more and more popular in today's thinking. What do you think, Casey?
Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Casey Clayton, Cross Country Mortgage. Yeah, I mean, 84 trillion?
Yeah, 84 trillion.
Yeah, 84 trillion is a really large number. I know the article focuses a lot on the solo agers and people without heirs, but I think where a lot of the benefit is for us as real estate professionals and for your buyers is the ones that do have heirs. A strategy we've been using with my team for the last pretty much since the pandemic, and we've seen a big spike in home values and affordability has gotten a lot tougher, is bringing in our first-time home buyers' parents and bringing in their financial advisor teams and working with them collectively to structure, some of that inheritance coming to them through a gift before they actually pass to help these people get into a home now rather than waiting until they actually receive that inheritance down the road. So bringing in the financial advisors, making sure there's no tax implications and everything is structured correctly, really tends to help with the parents' comfort level of giving that money now rather than making their kids wait. So obviously a lot of really interesting stuff's going to happen with those that don't have heirs and where that money's going to go. But I think the big opportunity, there's a lot of that 84 trillion that do have heirs, and they are able to help people right now.
Gotcha. What do you think?
Martin, what are you thinking on this, sir?
Or Bailey, if you want to go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Baylea Ducote. I'm a realtor with Sellstate Next Gen Realty. I think it's really interesting, especially here in California, where so many people's wealth is put into real estate. I'm curious to see if they're going to start cashing out on that equity and kind of just moving into those senior sitters, and just living off that cash for the rest, because they're not really worried about passing any of that money down to any other generation. Sorry. Martin, what do you think?
The way I kind of see it is more like on an investment side. So my name is Martin Magana with Oak Rock Realty. But what I'm kind of seeing this as is obviously, like Chris said, a lot of these older generations of homeowners are going to have more medical issues, more payments they have to put out. So they might have to liquidate just to be able to cover those costs. They'll have to pass it on. If they do have heirs, they'll probably be an extended family member if they have no direct children. But on the investment side, obviously, a lot of these holds are 40, 50, 60 years old. And if they're going to end up selling these homes because they're not going to be in a financial or a physical state to repair them, we're going to see a lot of new properties coming into the market. So I'm very excited for that, especially in the areas like Oceanside, Carlsbad, or even down in San Diego. So
excellent.
Yep.
It's definitely a lot of money to be moved.
One thing I want to say is that many of these heirs, because they're at a certain point where it's like they don't really care about where their inheritance goes or where the money goes. If they do sell it without doing a 1031 tax deferred exchange, they're going to pay about 30 to 40% in taxes, approximately capital gains taxes. So what we have to do is to educate them, and they can utilize that money to be able to roll it into a passive income where they don't have to lose that money. It can keep generating money for them so that they can take care of their health.
Nice. That's a good point.
Yep. Well, thank you all so much for your feedback on our insights portion and the $84 trillion wealth transfer. A lot of great comments, but let's talk about what is LEARNin Local Live. LEARNin Local Live is a live podcast. And this is the only show in San Diego that highlights real estate professionals who are out there in the field. They are our subject market educators who work with buyers and sellers and investors, inspectors, lenders. And so they're out in the field and they know what is going on. It's hard to find out what's real and what's fake out there nowadays. So we provide it to you here in real time. And we're here to educate, empower, and inspire you to make the best decisions that you can in real estate by, reaching out to these professionals that can guide you through the sales process so that you lose your shirt or you don't wind up spending so much money in making mistakes in buying real estate. So we're here to connect, we're here to collaborate and create content with our subject market educators. And we're here to provide you them. We're here to provide you all these people here in real time, live, because they are our experts. These are our subject market educators. Welcome, guys, to the show. This is going to be an amazing show today. So with that in mind, let's meet our subject market educators. All right, everybody. And again, the reason why we bring our subject market educators here is because they're here for you to help you with your real estate purchases. If you're a seller or a buyer or you're an investor, these are the professionals, knowledgeable experts that have been licensed for many, many years and have helped hundreds of clients, investors throughout San Diego. So please reach out to us so that we can connect you with them. And I'm one of these subject market educators, and I'm here to promote my business and provide my expertise in 1031 tax deferred exchanges. But being part of the community, this is what they can do for you. Located in Rancho Bernardo, we've been around for over 26 years, and we've done over 60,000 tax deferred exchanges. If you don't do a 1031 tax deferred exchange, you could be faced with about 30 to 40% in taxes, right? Wouldn't you rather roll that over into the next property so that you can buy more with it? Well, we're here to give you your options. Let's talk. All right, everybody, happy Friday. I'm so happy to be here. Super excited to talk about, Oceanside. I live here. This is amazing. The thing is, it's like we went from winter and we skipped the season and went directly into summertime. It's super hot now, but I'm grateful that I don't have to be shoveling snow, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
This morning it was hard to get up and actually go do your daily because the beach was calling this morning.
I want to be at the beach right now, but what do you guys think about the weather, about where we're at?
Hey, listen, check this out. So even though the weather's great right now, I got here many years ago. I'm ex-military, black belt mortgage pro, by the way.
For your service.
Thank you. I called my parents my first winter in San Diego and told them that I'm never coming back home. I'm from Texas, and I'll probably die and be buried here. That was 26 years ago. And right now you're seeing why. And at that time, when I told my mom that, she was cracking the pipes to let the water drip so they wouldn't freeze back in Texas. Mm-hmm. So gotta love Southern California, right?
100%, man. As a native here, born and raised in Oceanside, so I'm going to give a quick shout out to that on today's podcast. But spending time in Chicago, if you guys aren't sick of me talking about it yet, just got back from Chicago, was there January and most of February this year. And growing up here, I took it for granted. Moving away or spending time outside of the city really made me realize what a blessing it is to be here and to have been here for so long and so much of my life. So excited to go back, not making that mistake again. This is home, and there's really no place like it in the country.
Absolutely.
What do you think, Nicole?
We're still in a world of things not matching around us. So the beach being able to escape on a daily is a good problem to have.
At Oceanside, how do you feel about this area and the weather?
Were you talking to me or Bailey? I'm sorry. Bailey.
Oh, I love Oceanside so much. I've lived in 7 different states, actually, fun fact. And California is by far my favorite. I know you said we transitioned from winter to summer, but I don't even think we ever had a winter. It is so beautiful outside. Like Nicole said, I want to be at the beach right now. The ocean breeze here in Oceanside today the wind is definitely getting it, but the sun is just beaming. It's beautiful.
Absolutely.
Mark, what do you think?
And then one thing a lot of people don't know about Oceanside, it's pretty affordable. Like you'd think it's like for something called Oceanside, it'd be a pretty pricey location like La Jolla, but no, it's very affordable, especially if you go inland. But like everyone was saying, the weather in San Diego, just Oceanside, Carlsbad, all the way down La Jolla, it's just everything's just always perfect. Like you're not gonna have any bad weather.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. Well, thank you all so much for being on the show today. Again, we want to thank you for your expertise, your knowledge, and for guiding us through, a lot of these questions that our viewers are asking about real estate. All of you have are specialists in different fields, and we appreciate you being here. We wouldn't have a show without you. So thank you again so much for taking the time out of your day to be here. With that in mind, let's get into the next segment of our show and dive into our Learning Local Insights.
Hey guys, Nicole Turner here from Sellstate Next Gen Realty. We are going to dive into Oceanside, but first, let's thank our sponsor.
Protection that puts you first. Your home and your family deserve security, stability, and peace of mind. For every mile, every moment, every memory in motion. Because every drive deserves to get you home safely. Comprehensive solutions that safeguard your operations, assets, and future. Farmers Insurance, because your life deserves protection that truly matters.
Thanks again, Farmers Insurance, for sponsoring this segment. You guys, Oceanside is one of those areas. North Coastal, it is the last city on your way out of San Diego County. And truly the sunshine, the beach, the pelicans, the everything, even the seagulls, you guys, that steal our sandwiches on the beach sometimes, are just amazing at the coast. I know we're going to get into different segments of that area. But truly, when we look at the coastal areas, just like we were talking about with Carlsbad last week, we're in an area that has beautiful beaches. If I'm down south, I'm in Lakeside. So when I go west, I'm going to be at like Mission Beach, Ocean Beach. If I go south, I'm in Imperial Beach. Those are whole different scapes than if I get into the North County coastal. Bailey, you live there. Yeah, and in Oceanside, and I heard you say you 7 states. Thank you for your husband's service in the military. I am guessing that is a big reason why 7 states is behind you. But truly, living in Oceanside, what do you look at of the quality life there in that city?
Oceanside really is one of the best coastal cities here, and honestly, all of California. It still has that coastal feel, but it's more laid back and local. It's somewhere where you really want to live every day instead of just a place you want to visit on the weekends. I really love how diverse our community is here too. You have the military from Camp Pendleton, there's longtime locals, young professionals, and it's actually the second best city to retire in all of California. So, there's a really good mix of people. From a real estate perspective, it still is one of those more attainable coastal markets, especially here in San Diego, which is why I think a lot of buyers and investors are really starting to pay attention. Location-wise, you're perfectly in between San Diego and Orange County with easy access to the 5, and the Oceanside Transit Center, has the coaster, the Amtrak, the Sprinter. So it's really convenient if you do want to travel for work or, if you just want to commute. So a lot of locals here actually only commute up to about 20 minutes for work because there is such a good job force here in Oceanside. So you wouldn't have to commute if you didn't want to. There's a lot of new developments coming to the area, a lot of improvements to downtown, the streets, and they're just trying to make it more walkable. And honestly, every single day, they're making it more and more desirable.
True story. Casey, I know you said you live up there too. What are your favorite places in Oceanside?
I don't live up there anymore. I grew up there.
Gotcha.
So I don't get there nearly as much as I would like to, but to just kind of keep going off of what Bailey was saying about the continual improvement, as someone that grew up there in the 90s and early 2000s, there was the professional side of me that was like, this is going to happen one day, right? You know, coastal real estate in San Diego is so valuable and so desired, and Encinitas and Carlsbad was already so built up. There's only one last like destination for this really to happen in. So we knew it was coming. But the personal side of me and the local side of me was like, there's no way they're going to turn this into what Carlsbad and Encinitas is. And I mean, in ways, I feel like they've surpassed it. The resorts and all the things they have put down in the beach. I remember when that used to be a skate park and parking lots. That was about it. So it's just, the transition has been amazing. Again, from a real estate perspective, there's a lot of appreciation that has happened there, and I think will continue to happen there as those values start to catch up with Carlsbad and some of the local areas, and really good lot sizes. So a lot of those lots that are west of the 5 are really good lot sizes. So there's a lot of potential for ADUs or adding value that way as well. So no matter what you're looking for, I think it's got a little bit of everything, and it's just going to continue to grow and get better.
True story. Raphael, what about you up in Oceanside?
Thing is, I grew up in Texas. So I grew up with the Gulf of Mexico. And for any Texas people watching, this is not a shot at you guys, but out here on the Pacific, it's different. And so one thing that I did when I got out here, because I watched it growing up as a little kid, and that was surfing. So believe it or not, I surf. I know I'm a big guy, 250 pounds, got a lot of muscle, but man, I don't know if you guys have ever paddled out in a surf. That's way harder just about than anything I've ever done in the gym, just surfing. So surf up there in Oceanside is really, really good. So for one while I was on this kick trying to go up and down the coast, figuring out where the good surf spots was at, Oceanside is one. So you say Oceanside to me, I think about surfing.
That is so true. The currents are different up there and they create amazing surf. We have amazing reefs up there. That is a true story. One thing I think we can all agree on going to the coastal communities is demand never lacks. So going into those market times, you know, let's talk about where are we seeing the demand today in Oceanside. Bailey, do you have any insight on that?
Yeah, so we are definitely in a seller's market right now. Buyers, I mean, there is, you know, some things available. Buyers have a little bit to choose from, but there's not a whole lot of negotiating room. Home prices are only $835,000, like is the median price, which is pretty low compared to other coastal cities in San Diego that are honestly above that $1 million price point. Homes are sitting on market for about 35 days right now. So, you know, there's a pretty good turnover rate. And just in the last month, there's already been 142 properties sold, which, you know, is a pretty good turnover. We did have 170 new listings come to market. So there is, you know, always something available. We only have 2 months of inventory right now, though, which leans into that seller's market heavily. And the average price per square foot is $554, which, if you know anything about San Diego, the rest is closer to $700.
Yeah, no, very, very good points. And, you know, up there, I don't know, the 78 to me is like the North County Golden Corridor, right? And then I look at the 76 and I'm like, that's the fun raceway to get from east to west quickly, right? Yeah. When you look at the listings, though, the turnover rate's a good point. You know, when you're looking for an investment, being able to sell that in the future is so important. And I think North County stands out as one of those inventory movers. I mean, you guys just go like this up there. We're down here in Lakeside, East County, or even Central South. We are a little bit slower than you are up there. Martin, any insight to the trends?
Not so much a trend, but more so on some of the properties I'm seeing. So basically anything like from the pier, Oceanside Pier, which I highly recommend you go, even after there was a fire there. I think it was 2 years ago, but it's all good now. Everything from the pier north, there's a lot of condos like facing or directly on the like beach side, just right on the sand. And a lot of those are pretty much available. And then a lot of the homes are from the 70s and 80s. So there's a lot of even just basic cosmetic flips in that area. Just one thing to look out for is because it's a coastal town, Oceanside has a lot of strong, like, especially ADU regulations, but a lot of regulations because of it being so local to the ocean. So just watch out for that. But overall, great place for a beginner or first-time home buyer.
Nice.
Good point. Casey, insight and market trends going on in the mortgages right now. Any insight there?
Unfortunately, it was a bit of a rough day for mortgage rates today. But, you know, at the end of the day, I don't like to focus on rates. I say if you focus on the rate, you may never buy, right? Especially these people that are waiting for 4%, 3%. get in now. There's ways we can help you lower your payment. I like working with realtor teams that understand the buy down structure and working to structure offers that make sense for the seller and make sense for the buyers at the same time, and help them get in with a little bit lower of a rate and a lower payment. So definitely a lot of things we can do, and a lot of unique loans that are available for people because they'll get them in homes even with the higher rate environment.
You brought up a good point with the rates, because truly when you go even backwards, right? Go back to 1996, 99, there were way higher rates and a lot of people did not invest back then, right? And today, I know in my conversations, I have a lot of them they're kicking themselves in the butt that they did not buy back then. And I think we're looking at the cycle always in real estate that way. Chris, where's your insight on our market trends today?
Well, as far as investments, from a 1031 exchange perspective, I think it's an opportunity for investors to, if actually they've gained a lot of money on their property, they can actually roll these properties into other areas of San Diego or even outside in other states, because property values have significantly gone up. And for a lot of sellers in the market in Oceanside who have this significant equity, they have a lot of more options, a lot of different places that they can roll that investment into without having to pay the 30 to 40% in capital gains. So it's an opportunity right now to take that that gain and then roll it into other properties where you're getting more cash flow and a higher rate of return.
Those exit strategy conversations are valuable in this dollars that we're talking about right now. Raphael, your insight?
From an investment standpoint, I'm a private money lender. So whenever you invest in Southern California, anywhere, especially Oceanside, one of the hot spots, it's very hard for us as private lenders to pass on deals, because the thing about Southern California is it's going to likely appreciate just about every time. Well, actually, I'll say all the time. If you buy something now, kind of what you mentioned earlier about back in the 90s and different things like that people passed up on, there's no reason to pass up on a deal here. And as far as the private money goes, for as the investments, anywhere from 9 to 11%, as long as they hit your profit margin, you're fine. Bring it to me. That's what I personally do. And I'll be happy to help you get started. And you can't go wrong. If you have a property in Oceanside, you are going to profit, period.
So the last thing I wanted to bring up is the rental market here. It's insane, especially for investors. There's a constant, turnover with, Camp Pendleton being right here. There's constantly people coming in and out of Oceanside that need rentals. Honestly, there's a demand for it right now. So I think that's another great thing that, investors could really look into.
Very
Absolutely.
true story. Moving into the economic development up in that area, what are you seeing as far as new developments, new builds? Is there anything going on with the military? Bailey?
Oh, yeah, there are some major developments happening. Oceanside, especially downtown, is really taking over. They have a huge project. If anybody knows where the Regal Cinema is in downtown Oceanside, they're basically tearing down the whole complex and building a huge structure. It's going to bring over 300 apartments, about 26,000 square feet of retail space and restaurants. So that is going to be, a huge economic driver for the area.
For sure. I think we've heard up and coming, matching with Oceanside for a long time, right? But I think it's really exciting to start to see the development really come into play at this point. Casey, economic development up there, what are you seeing as far as any new projects or anything else that you can see?
Yeah, I think to just keep going again off of Bailey is most of what I'm seeing up there is all condos, apartments, and townhomes. So I think just going back to the value and what's already there, and maybe picking up an aged flip, because we're not seeing single family home developments. There's just not enough land for that, especially coastal. So that is something that is going to be highly desirable moving forward, I feel, and it's just going to further increase the value if you can get into a single family home now, especially if you can get into one that needs some renovations, fix it up, and then hold that for a long-term play. Because everything new that is going up, they're just trying to, there's so much demand for the area right now, they're just trying to get as many units as possible. And that comes in the form of condos, townhomes, and apartments, not single family.
For sure. And Bailey, that 300 structure popping up, that was huge. Are there more things going on in the coastline there?
Yes, Oceanside is really focused on Mission Avenue and that main strip of downtown right now. They have another apartment complex in the works. They're actually expecting it to be done within the next 2 years, which is going to be huge. It's an 8-story mixed-use apartment project. The downstairs is going to be full of just retail space and more space for local restaurants, which has been growing every single year.
Definitely. I think your population up there continues to increase.
Oh yeah, third largest city in San Diego County. We have like 175,000 residents right now.
And Martin brought up a good point. Affordability still exists in Oceanside, but the key word I think in that sentence is still exists in Oceanside, because when I see 2 major developments being built up there, especially right there near the coast, what happened, Jill?
Yeah, the prices are steadily going up. Even if you just compare to last year, we're up about 15% in just 1 year, which is kind of a crazy increase. Especially like for, like how Oceanside was in the past. It had a very gradual, slow growing, but ever since COVID, we are just slowly skyrocketing. So I honestly think it's a great time to get in now before, it is unattainable.
Yeah, those coast price solds are going to start increasing the market significantly soon. Chris.
Yep. So I think that all of these comments on Oceanside, I live here. I walk down the pier. I go down to the marina. I go to the farmer's market. They have a farmer's market on Thursdays. They have live bands. They've got all these great vendors, restaurants. And then on Sundays, they also have a farmer's market in the marina. So, I walk down the downtown area, and they've got these ocean view condos there that are available. And I see a lot of growth. I've been going to Oceanside for the last 10 to 15 years, and believe me, it's grown and it's developed, and it's so much better because there's a lot of investment going into the town and making it better. So this is such a great opportunity, especially for people who want affordable condos and houses still. But like you said, Nicole, that's going to continue to go up. So if there's an opportunity for you to buy in Oceanside right now, I would say reach out to these professionals and then start looking before the prices get significantly up and you can't afford it. So it's an opportunity. Thank you all so much for your feedback, your knowledge, and your insights today on Oceanside. This was it clarified that this is the beach town to go to look for investments and to buy property. So thank you all so much for all that. Let's get into the next segment of our show and get into it with our LEARNin Local Deals.
Awesome. Thank you, Chris, and thank you everybody for those insights on Oceanside. The deal today is pretty special to me. It was one we worked on a while ago, back when it was off market, and I'll get into it with the family and all that. But before we get started, I'd like to thank our sponsor, Revolution Realty Capital. Awesome. There we go. So the deal we have today, it's going to be up in Oceanside, as is the theme for the show. It's going to be located on Darwin Drive in 92056 zip code. The reason I wanted to showcase this deal is because it is a cosmetic flip. The family inside is a little bit older. They had a few medical issues going on, but the main concern was there was a step up to get to the living room, and then from there, obviously, there's a ginormous staircase to get to the top floor. And with them being older, with them being harder to move and having some medical issues, relocating to a smaller property with easier access and easier accessibility is the biggest thing for them. They needed to get anywhere from 900 to $1 million. Ideally, that $1 million would kind of help them with all their financial issues. When we had this back, I think it was 5 months ago when it was off market, we were trying to get them anywhere from 930 to 950. We had a few offers fielding almost $1 million, but a few of those fell through. It is a 5-bedroom, 3-bath, single-family home, sitting on a 9,700 square foot lot. It is currently listed at around 1.25 mil. They ended up accepting an offer in the 935,000 range, so I'm very happy for them. The flipper who came in here had to deal with basically a cosmetic flip. The two biggest issues they had, there was a leak in the bathroom on the top floor from a hole in the roof. And the other issue was the entire property was covered in debris and junk. As you can see from the pictures now, it's super cleaned out. It's super empty, super clear. But when you first walked this property, like, you couldn't really walk around on the outside. The inside was covered in years of buildup of the family just coming in and out. Obviously, boxes, old furniture, old stuff that you just couldn't remove. And obviously, with the family being older, they couldn't remove the property themselves. So one thing I do want to talk about when we analyze this deal is the cost of hauling, the cost of dumpsters, little things like that that you don't really think about, but will add a large amount into your fix and flip budget. So, Nicole, Rafael, what do you guys think?
That house, I just love all the windows. I love the views. It looks like it has views out of a lot of different areas.
It's super high up on the hill. It's gorgeous.
I wasn't crazy. Okay, I saw that. I saw the master and I went, wait a second, that's a great view. Beautiful neighborhood too. I mean, I think you in the world of 5 bedrooms, you said, correct?
Yes, 5-bed, 3-bath.
Not very often. Those are unicorns. They don't pop up on our market very often. Up in this area though, they do. They're a little bit more prevalent, but still having that square footage and the views in that lot, definitely a huge plus.
Yeah.
What do you think,
a lot of
Bailey?
properties like this, these cosmetic flips are amazing for first-time investors or for a lower price point because you don't have to do too much into the property, and you can get away with making a quick profit without having to worry about a complete top-to-bottom rehab. Bailey, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that's a great example of just how, the market is here right now. They were able to buy this house, for even in the $900,000 range, put in just a little bit of work and sell it for 1.2, which I honestly feel like is a pretty good price for as big of a house that is and the location. What do you think, Chris?
You know what? I really love the lot. And if I'm going to be purchasing a house, I want one where I can move around in, where I don't have to, be so close to my neighbors, where I can maybe build a pool, build a barbecue grill outside and, turn it into paradise for myself. But I want a large lot. And I love this property because it's got the 5 bedrooms, especially with family coming over and, having your mother-in-law or father-in-law staying there. It's great for a big family. And I absolutely love the size of the property.
And then, like I said earlier about the hauling costs and the hoarding in the property, one big thing that I like to tell investors is typically allocate for a 1,500 to 3,000 square foot home around 2 to 4, maybe 5K in just dumpster rehab or renting and all that. In this case, we were getting estimates anywhere from 15 to 20 grand just to remove all the junk, just because you got to pay just a large size dumpster. You're paying 1 to 2 grand depending on who they know. I think the person I pretty sure bought this, they had their own guy, so they ended up paying, I think it was 17 grand for the dumpster rental and all the removal, but that was because they had a connection to be able to do it cheaply. So especially if there's a lot of junk, a lot of heavy items in the property, make sure you reach out to people and find out how much it costs to actually remove that, because if you think you're going to make 20, 30, 40 grand on a property and then you're rehabbing it and realize you're going to drop 20 grand just on getting everything out, you're going to not end up with a win there. So
true.
Yeah.
Sorry
to cut you off there. But yeah, just to go to his point, I mean, I think the other side of this too is completely agree that these cosmetic flips are a great place to get started. But along with budgeting for the clean out, make sure you have a contingency budget, because sometimes when you get into these hoarder homes, especially depending how bad they are, you don't know what you're going to find once you get all of the stuff out of the house. So all of that junk could just be hiding other problems. If you didn't already budget for them, you'll want to make sure that you do have some extra contingency just for what might be lurking under there. And real quick, one other thing I want to touch on is I love that this is a 92056 zip code. We spent so much of that first section talking about the coast, but with the coast rising in value, we're seeing these values trickle inland, and there's a lot more to Oceanside than just the coast. And it goes pretty far east, all the way up until Bonsall. I don't think a lot of people realize how far east it goes. And those values are going up across the entire city, not just on the coast. The coast is driving it, but it's bringing everything else up with it.
Good point, Casey.
I think from my perspective, as a private lender, I think it was a win across the board for everyone. You know, the sellers who needed to sell to make some money, the investor who invested, and the buyers who bought it. You know, whether they bought it at the listing price or just below. I think that was a complete win across the board, and it was a great property for that area for that price. And I think everyone won, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, seeing especially older couples like this being able to walk away with a win, being able to sell their house, and just one of the things that they had is we were trying to negotiate a contingency where the homeowner would be able to have time to relocate and find a different property for them to move in before it is sold. So hopefully that was also kept in place, and that was just like their main concern is having 30 days to 60 days to look at a secondary property for themselves. But don't be afraid to negotiate these kind of contingencies in place, where it's lease backs, rent backs, whatever it is, where you have different options where the actual seller of the property could live in the property 30, 60 days afterwards, but they'll be paying you rent or part of the mortgage. That way it'll cover your holding costs, so you're not actually just eating away into your profit.
Absolutely.
And also being able to help them out.
Well, and I think this equates even back to the article, right? Like baby boomers are selling their homes, or they're trying to figure out how to transition. I know I bought my home from a boomer, and 10 40-yard dumpsters later, and I still have more to go. And thank God for labor called my son and my husband that helped. It's truly crazy, right? But I think this is where our conversations become so essential in the exit strategy for the people that own these homes, because sometimes if we talk to them in plenty of time and say, hey, let's move out and rent this for 2 years before we sell it, we can make some great moves for them financially that could even put them in different places in the future. I love when you bring old life to new life. And I just think there's nothing better for a home and a neighborhood when that happens. But strategy is always the name of the game. What do you think, Casey? You're muted.
Sorry. Yeah, the last thing I had on this is I just love that Martin and all of us are talking about the seller side of this too. I think investors sometimes get a bad rep with some of these off-market purchases, but really highlighting how this was a win for the sellers, I think is really important for everyone to hear and understand, and give investors the confidence to go out there and have the conversations direct to seller and know that you're maybe doing them a benefit too, right? So I just think that's important to highlight.
Everybody wins.
Oh, yeah. I wanted to bring up the point that you brought up, Casey, about we did mention a lot of the coast, but you're correct. Oceanside is huge. It spans so far up inland, and we're seeing those price increases everywhere. So there's rental opportunities, not just if you can't get into the $1 million price point along the coast, but even if you have $500,000 to $700,000 to try to invest more inland, you can still get great rentals because, again, Camp Pendleton, renters are all throughout Oceanside. So I really do think it's a good market, and that was a great example of an investment opportunity.
Yeah, there's going to be no lack of rental properties or rental need because of the Camp Pendleton proximity. But with that, there is a bunch of new regulations being put into Oceanside. I think it's AB 1846, if I remember correctly, but stuff like that, where it's just like little things that cap how much rent can be increased. There's new regulations on rental legality in terms of how long you can rent a property for, or being able to live in the property, or else you won't be able to rent it. And obviously very strict Airbnb regulations. So just make sure you do your research before you consider going into any of these markets. So.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you so much for your insights on this deal. It's amazing that we can really talk about what's going on and how the coastal prices affect inland prices, but it's still an affordable place to purchase real estate, your first home, or from a 1031 exchange perspective, you can buy a home in Oceanside, live in there for a couple years, and then rent it out for a couple years. Before year 5, you can go ahead and do a 1031 exchange and roll that into another investment property. You can probably buy multiple properties with that. But there's just so many different ways you can skin a cat, right? With regard to investments and everything, especially with Oceanside being one of the most affordable areas, coastal areas in San Diego, that a lot of investors and people who want to buy their first home or their second home that they should start looking at. And, quality of life, market trends, economic development, all of these things all fall into that scheme of before you make that decision, make sure you get involved and reach out to a lot of these professionals here who can guide you through the process. Now, with that in mind, thank you all so much for your insights on these deals. Let's get into the next segment of our show and move on to our Learn Local events. All right, Chris Asler with Exchange Resources. Before we get into our Learn Local events, let's thank our sponsor.
Smart real estate investing starts with the right partner. At HLM Group LLC, we guide investors through every stage, from acquisition to full service management. Whether short, mid, or long-term rentals, we transform properties into high-performing, fully booked spaces. Design, staging, leasing, hospitality. We don't just manage properties, we create experiences that feel like home. Because the best investments deliver more than returns. They become places where life happens and memories begin. HLM Group LLC, own the property, we'll craft the experience.
Thank you, HLM Group LLC, Roger Lee. So with that in mind, let's get into the first event. It's called Go Long Golf Challenge. And it's happening today at the Bermuda Club from 1:30 to 3:30. So please be there. I will be there because I'm sponsoring the event. It would be great to see many of you go so that you can connect, build powerful relationships, and meet some of our interns that are going to be there. Next is Oceanside Main Street. Obviously, today we're talking about Oceanside. So this is going to be a great event that's happening tomorrow. It's the Taste of Spring, Saturday, March 21st from 1. Go back to the slide, please. Back one more. 1 to 4 p.m. in downtown Oceanside. There's going to be 35 tasting stops. Oh my God, bring an empty stomach and bring a big wallet because you're going to be spending a lot of money on this great food and drinks. The next one that we have is actually a Hawaiian festival. It's called the Tomorrow Cultural Festival. It's also happening tomorrow, Saturday, March 21st. And there's going to be entertainment, workshops, live music, island food. And who doesn't love island food? It's going to be happening from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Again, in Oceanside. Yes. Okay. Next event is the Oceanside Meet and Greet. And if you haven't been to the rooftop bar in Oceanside, it's got great views. It's got a great vibe. This is going to be a great opportunity to meet other professionals in the industry. It's going to be happening on Friday, March 27th, starting at 2 o'clock. So a lot of great events that are happening. I think we covered a lot of Oceanside today. Just, I think a lot of our viewers got a taste of the opportunity of what it would be like to be living in Oceanside. What is your last comments, your last take on this? Casey, let's start with you.
Yeah, I mean, just to add a little bit to the events, if you ever want to check out Oceanside, Thursday nights, they have the street fair in downtown Oceanside. It's a great time to get out there with the families. And Baylea will probably know better than me. I forgot if it's Wednesday or Thursday mornings, they have the farmer's market. So just another couple cool things you can do in downtown, get the whole family out, take the dogs out, whatever it is, and get some of that Oceanside living.
Perfect. Martin, what's your takeaway?
Honestly, Oceanside's like a beautiful area. I'm biased towards Carlsbad, obviously, but still my second favorite North County. If you're looking for a property here, make sure you reach out to people such as Baylea and Ducote of Sellstate. Look up your regulations before you buy, and check out Buccaneers Cafe in Oceanside Pier.
Raphael.
I'm biased to the ocean. Just hit the ocean. All the other stuff is great, but if you love the ocean like I love the ocean, go to the ocean. It's second to none. There you go.
Enough said. Nicole.
I agree with Raphael, but at the same time, the Taste of Oceanside looked like a lot of fun. Those are great ways to be able to get out and really get to know communities that you don't know already. So if that's you, get out there this weekend.
And Bailey, our special guest today, for telling us about the opportunities in Oceanside. What is your takeaway on today's show?
Oceanside really is great. I love, that we brought up all the great points for investors, and not only investors, but also first-time home buyers and people that really just want their place in this market. I really don't want them to miss out on it by waiting until the right time or until interest rate drops. I feel like there's never a better time to just get into a market, especially in a growing city like Oceanside.
All right. Well, you guys, we have a question from a viewer. The question is, are investors actively targeting inherited properties as part of their strategy during this wealth transfer. So just wanted to get your take on this. Casey, or Bailey, what is your take on that?
I think that would kind of be smart of investors, honestly, because of, the generation that is inheriting these properties usually already own homes or don't want the upkeep. And most people don't want to run rentals houses on their own and things. So I do think that would be a great, target for investors because, random nieces and nephews that are going to inherit these properties might just want to wash their hands of it, and investors might be able to get a better price.
Yep. Great. Nicole or Casey.
Yeah, I was going to say investors definitely are targeting them. A lot of times, if it's not direct to seller, it's through probate attorneys. So if you do want to pick up a property like this, go make a relationship with a good probate attorney, and they'll probably have some good opportunities for you.
Perfect. Well, we have another question that we would like to address. When someone inherits a property that they don't want, what are the typical options they should consider besides selling? So let's see, Raphael, what do you think?
The typical options besides selling?
Yeah, if they inherit a property that they don't want, so these are the kids, their mom and dad pass away, and then they inherit this property that they don't want. What are some of the things that they should consider doing besides selling it?
Selling. Okay, so for me, for being a private lender, DSCR loan, debt service coverage ratio loan. So basically turn the property into, say, like a long-term rental, which they can qualify, putting the person inside the property. That will be a way to go. A better way to go is contact me. Let's do the same thing, pull some cash out if it has equity, and put the person in the property and let it go that way. That way they can receive, money each month to take care of everything. So turn it into an investment. That's what I say. If you're not going to sell it outright, collect all the money, turn it into an investment, build it up, do a value add, fix some things up, and then sell it later on down the line if you want.
Yep. Martin, what do you think?
One thing I was thinking about is, would this, if I inherited a property like this, Chris, and I didn't want to sell it, but I didn't want to deal with it, would this be a good option for, is it the Delaware Statutory Trust?
Yes, absolutely. That's a Delaware Statutory Trust. Exactly. So they can actually take that property. If it was an investment property, they can actually roll it into a Delaware Statutory Trust, which is a portfolio of property, brick and mortar. This is not a real estate investment trust. This is not a REIT. This is actually brick and mortar, a portfolio where they can take that $1 or $2 million, roll it into this passive investment, and then they can go ahead and get passive income on a monthly basis. So that's also an option as well.
The house becomes a paycheck over time.
Absolutely, pretty much. Nicole, what's your take?
Well, holding it's always wise in my world, but every house has a different story, right? It's always time, motivation, cost, and where the profits are. And truly holding for long term, but at the same time, sometimes the numbers don't work out in that strategy. Question on that DST, Chris. Is that something where it has to be a rental before they can utilize the DST?
Yes. So that is one of the requirements, that it has to come from a 1031 exchange. So that is, when you do the 1031 exchange, it has to have been used as a rental property. The relinquished property has to have been indicated on their tax returns on Schedule E as an investment property. They have to have had tenants who have paid rent, and you have to have leases. So you have to prove that before doing a 1031 exchange into a DST. Now, when you go into a DST, the hold period is normally about 5 to 7 years. These investors cannot touch that money during that period of time. So if they come across an ailment or some emergency with their health, they can't pull that money out. So the best thing to do would be maybe to buy down in value a little bit, get some of that cash out, right? So that way they have emergency funds for any kind of health issues, and then roll the remaining part of that investment into the DST. They are going to have to pay taxes on that money that they pull out, but at least they have a safety net in case anything happens with their health. But DSTs are a great investment for a lot of these baby boomers. Yes.
Great ways to go for sure.
Absolutely. So you guys, thank you so much for being on this show. We have a lot of great content. And again, I want to remind our viewers that please reach out to us so that we can connect you to our lenders, our realtors, our people who do off-market deals. This is the place to go to for the professionals that you can trust with your real estate. And again, we're here to connect, collaborate, and create content with our subject market experts. We're here for you. So please join us in school. It's a growing community. It's grown so much in the past year. And we're here to help you with all the information that you need to make the best decision in real estate. We provide you with all the professionals. So thank you all so much for being a part of this show. And we'll see you at the next LEARNin Local Live.